Hello everyone, what is going on? I am HTW2 and you're listening to HTW's podcast. Um, and I'm here today to review the latest album from the band Bring Me the Horizon. Bring Me the Horizon started off as a post-hardcore metalcore band, and kind of gradually has shifted into almost this kind of Linkin Park style of rock. They was Sepaternal was pretty much their was the first time I ever heard of this band, and it was pretty much their breakout. It was pretty much like their breakout album. I mean, it had something for everyone, and I think it really turned a lot of people over to the metalcore side. While it was still metalcore because there was still a lot of singing on it, it wasn't as generic or as bland as it used to be. I think the only other songs that I kind of really liked from them before Sepaternal was I think maybe Visions, and Visions was an alright. It was a pretty. I mean, it was a pretty good song, but I think it's Visions. Either way, it was a pretty good it was a pretty good song, and that was probably the only thing that I heard before Sepaternal came out that I liked from them. Now they've come out with a couple singles leading into this album. They came out with Drown about a year ago, I think around September, October ish. I think October. Uh, I think it was October, I believe, is when Drown came out of last year. And I remember hearing it, and I was like, "Wow, this is really different." I didn't hate it because I still like the song. I really like the song, but I didn't hate it. But it was just so different from what we have heard from them from the past of Sepaternal, and thoroughly enjoyed that song, and I still do. Um, and then they came out with the song "Happy Song," which I thought was pretty funny. I don't know if funny's the word, but it was I don't know why I'm trying to think of funny, but I thought it was a pretty good song. Um, it's kind of funny in the sense of just just I guess the subject matter. And then we had the song "Throne," which reminded me which everyone is saying, it reminded me of kind of some early maybe like a early Linkin Park, but with some kind of modern electronic feel to it, if that makes sense. And then they come out. They also came out with the song "True Friends," which I actually didn't hear until this album came out. I didn't even know that came. I didn't know they even released that as a another single until I found out later. But now we have the album. That is the spirit, or that's the spirit. Not that is the spirit. That's the spirit. And this is a totally different direction in the band and we could tell by the singles that they were taking a different direction. And from what I was hearing in the three singles that they released, well, technically four become True Friends, but I'm not counting it because those were the ones I didn't hear. That was the one I didn't hear. Um, you could tell that they were going in a different direction, and I liked the direction that they were going in from the singles that we got. The first song is Doomed, and sorry about that, that is my garage. The first song we got was Doomed, and I really liked Doomed. It was a good start to the album. It was it kind of starts off really slow. You get these electronics coming in, and it was real, and then it kind of starts to pick up, and then it's this band is lots of people saying they're going pop. I don't say they're not. They're not going pop. They're more of going in this rock direction feel, and more of a. It's because they used to be this metalcore band, this post-hardcore band, and now they've kind of gone into this Linkin Park, not even early Linkin Park, but just kind of more modern Linkin Park type of, because they're not as they're heavier than Linkin Park still, even though lots of tracks on this album is not as heavy as the earlier stuff. They're still a heavy. They still do have screams in here, but they're not as prevalent as they used to be in Sepaternal. I think that this is gonna kind of appeal to a larger audience than Sepaternal. Now, do I think this album is better than Sepaternal? Well, I'll talk about that later. But the next song we got was, and again, I like Doomed. The next song we got was Happy Song and Throne, the two singles that I just talked about, which is good. And then we got the fourth track on here, which is True Friends. I love True Friends. This is probably my favorite song on the album. Is This is so good. The way that I've listened to this so many times, it's kind of hard to explain how much you like it. It's almost like once I first heard it, it was just like the first minute of the song. I was like, "Yep, this is gonna be my favorite on the album," and it was. And then and it still is my favorite album or song on the album. Follow You is good as well. I think that if I can remember correctly, that's one of the. I don't know if that's the slower songs. And I'm trying to remember. I don't think Follow You is as good as I remember. Follow You is the one that I remember this one. Follow You is the one where I thought that the verses were pretty weak. Or no, I'm sorry. I thought the verses were probably the best part of this song actually. While I feel like the chorus kind of lacks down a bit, and but it's not one that I would skip. None of these songs are some that I would skip. They're all really good songs. What You Need, pretty good as well. And then Avalanche. Avalanche is another one of my favorites. Avalanche is just it's it's one that the first time I heard it I liked, but I didn't think it was as amazing as everyone else said. But the more I listen to it, the more I freaking love it. Run, I believe I think that's one of the slower songs on the album, um, if I can remember correctly, because I've only heard that song a couple times. If I remember correctly, it was probably one of my weaker ones, I think. Um, and then Drown, the new version. Although Run is still a good song, don't get me wrong. From what I can remember, Drown, it's supposedly new. Um, it's not that new. It is basically the same song, but with some guitar lines that they might be re-recorded, or maybe some drums, and then Ollie, I think maybe he has like maybe says "Don't let me drown" like one more time. Again, another great song, but it's kind of favoring more towards the pop. I think this is the song where I can agree with people that are saying that they're trying to lean more towards pop and like radio, which I can agree with for Drown, but for the other songs, no way. It's more towards a rock vibe. But Drown, yes, it's more of like a pop rock kind of thing, which I like. Don't get me wrong. I like You, Me, and Six, which is probably the best example I could give. Blasphemy, really good. First time I heard it, I kind of thought it was a bit generic, uh, but I still dug it. Like I can dig generic if it sounds good, and if it's done well. Uh, but I think that the Blasphemy, and the more I listen to it, the less I think it's generic, and the more I think that it's actually a pretty well thought out song. And it's a really good song in my opinion. And then we have Oh No, ending out the album, a strong finish. This is a really good song. Uh, three great songs there to end out the album. I think Drown maybe should have gone. Should have probably. I think Drown and Avalanche should have switched in the album. I would have personally put if I was Bringing the Horizon and if I was ordering this album, I would ordering if I was making the list for this album, I would put Drown where Avalanche is, and then Avalanche where Drown is. I'd switch the two because then if you have Avalanche and then Blasphemy and then Oh No, that would have been the perfect three songs to end this album out. Um, don't get me wrong, I still like Drown, but Avalanche, Blasphemy, and Oh No are so similar. In the way they sound so much alike, and they both because Drown again is more of the pop rock. Those three are more of the rock kind of vibes that I'm getting from it, and I think that those three would have been the perfect way to end this album. But overall, guys, a really great album. It's nothing. It's not as good as Sepaternal. Sepaternal was like a 9 out of 10, about a 9 out of 10 for me, if I had to rate it. But this is still a really solid follow up, and lots of people are gonna. I really feel like this is gonna divide people. Of this is really gonna divide people on because a lot of people liked what their old style was. I liked what they did with Sempiternal when they changed it. I don't like the shit that they did before Sempiternal, besides like the song Visions, like I said. But I love Sempiternal, and I still really like this. This isn't a love, but this is a really strong like. I definitely see myself coming back to this album, especially uh, songs True Friends, Throne. I'm kind of mixed on. Throne, Happy Song, Throne again sounds like Linkin Park, but it just hasn't really gotten me like. I still think it hasn't really grasped my attention like these other songs that I love have. Um, Avalanche, Drown, of course, and Blasphemy, and Oh No are some of my favorite songs on this album. If I had to pick one, that's my favorite. True Friends. If I had to pick maybe my least favorite, I think maybe Follow You, maybe, and maybe Doomed, maybe. I'm not too sure. I don't know. I mean, like, there's not a song on here. If I listen to the full album, and if I wanted to listen to this full album, I would not have a track that I would skip. I would listen to every single one because they're all really good. And that was the same thing for me for Sempiternal. And these guys have put two back-to-back albums that are really great. I'm going to give this one a solid 8.5 out of 10. I gave Sempiternal a 9 out of 10 in my opinion. This one's an 8.5. It's right below. They're both so different though. They really have changed their style, and either way, if they keep on going more in this direction, yes, I love it. But Sempiternal, or if they go, I don't think they're gonna go back to the what they did with Sempiternal. But if they stay with this sound and they go in this more of this direction that this album was like, then I'm all down. I'm all on. I'm all aboard. I really like this album. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys thought about this album in the comment section below, and I will see you guys all later. Thanks for watching. Peace.